Welcome, everyone. I'm Denise O'Malley, the founder of Unifying Wellness and on the board of directors for the ESC program. And I am running the Fast Start Challenge this month. And we are so excited to introduce you to the first presentation in the community development leg of this program that we have put together. And Mike Raber and I have known each other for a little while now, a few years. And I can tell you that this man is all about community. He has an organization called 100 Million Strong. And I got to tell you, if you want to succeed in business, you need to understand how community can impact your bottom line success. So without further ado, Mike Raber, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It is great to be here with everybody. I'm excited to share with you today a presentation I put together on how do you build community. And it ties into one of the pieces that I talk about and we'll be talking about more as this program continues on how do you put together what I refer to as your referral 100 or your core 100 people that are part of your business community. They could be clients, they could be customers, they could be people that are in your community. Who are your raving fans? Who are the people that when they're at a party and someone's talking about something that relates to what you do, they say, oh, I got a guy, I have someone you have to talk to. Who are those people? And more importantly, how as a business owner, do you create those people? Or do you even create those people? Imagine how would your business look if you had people calling in on a daily, every other day, weekly basis saying, so-and-so referred them to me, and I was wondering if you could help me too. I'm assuming that would help your bottom line. I know referred clients are a whole lot more fun to work with because they come into the conversation already with the level of trust there. Yes, you still have to show up and deliver and be the ultimate professional, but they already, because you took care of their friend or you took care of someone who they care about, they already somewhat trust and know that you will, at least they hope that you will take care of them. So all you have to do now is show up and do just that. And then through the process that I'm going to be sharing with you over the next few weeks, I will show you how you take those people and turn them again into raving fans, but more importantly, how do you bring them into your community? In fact, last week, Natalie Eastman and I were on a conversation and we were talking about community and the different components of community. So I'm not going to elaborate too much on that today. Go back and watch that if you wasn't or haven't been able to yet. But it kind of breaks down community as three parts. Your business, i.e. your employees, family, the people closest to your business. The employees show up. They are part of your business, both as employees, but hopefully they also feel like they're part of your community too. Your clients, your customers now are the second piece of that community. How do you show up for your clients on a continual basis? Oftentimes in business, when a person comes in the door and we serve them and they become a client, they become a customer, we are happy and they're happy that we took care of them for a moment, and then business continues, and oftentimes we forget to follow up and stay in contact with those people. And over time, unfortunately, they start to forget about us. So how do you build that relationship? How do you build that level of trust within your client base, your customer base? So not only do they keep coming back, but again, they refer people to you. And then the third part is the outward community, the people that are in your neighborhood, the businesses that you do business with, the foundations, the programs that mean a lot to you. Are you using part of your business success to help them in one way or another? So it's really building out your community from the employees all the way out to your local community across the town. And that said, for today's purpose, I'm going to take you through, bear with me as I open this up real quick, I'm going to take you through how does that look? And again, as the slide here shows, there are three different parts: communities, the parts of communities, the owners and employees, its client base or customers, and the surrounding community. How do you show up there? And when you start to think about who are your favorite customers, first, who is your ideal customer? It's amazing how many people I talk to. Oh, my slide doesn't want to change. Here we go. Yes, it was hesitating. Technology is great when it works, and when it doesn't work, it can be a challenge. Keeps us on our toes, though. So anyway, the intention. Who is your ideal market or your ideal client? A lot of times I'll be talking to someone and I'll ask them, if I were to refer someone to you, or if you had the ideal client to work with, who are they? And they respond with, oh, everybody. I can serve everybody. It's like, oh, okay. How's that working for you? It kind of like the old saying goes, the riches are in the niches. How are you narrowing down? Number one, the more concise you are as far as who your ideal client is, the person that you want to work with, the more fun it is to show up and serve them, but also the easier it is for them to, I guess, explain to other people what you do and how the ideal person for them to refer back to you would be. So who is your ideal client or the ideal market? Most scariest thing a small business owner or an entrepreneur can do is spend many hours and many months sometimes serving the wrong market, only to realize that now they have to change things and they have to go back and then sometimes have to blow up the business and start from scratch again. So before you get too far into it, when you're putting together your referral 100, your team of 100 people, think about who is the ideal person that if you were working with for free or for compensation, you would love to see those people. If you had a party, would you invite them? Hopefully. In fact, one of the things I want to teach you how to do in another program is exactly how do you throw parties? How do you bring these people together and why it's very profitable to do so? So the next question is, when you show up in your community, do you show up because you want to do more business, or do you show up with a heart to serve? Our customers can tell. So my recommendation is, again, when you're working with clients, let them know. One of my favorite phrases, which I learned from a mentor years ago, is if people ask you, hey, how's business? Wow, business is great, but I'm never too busy to serve you or anyone you care about. Make sure that your customers know that you value them. Make sure that you know that they know you're always available to help them. And when I say always available, obviously I don't mean 24/7. You have to have boundaries around your business and personal life. That said, make sure your clients know that when they have a concern or a need, that you will be there to help them through that process. And I'll even teach you a system in another program or another one of these calls where you can not only do what you do to show up in your client's life, but you can become kind of like a concierge. You can become a true trusted advisor or resource for your clients. The next question is, who is part of your community? Again, I talked about earlier, you have your clients, you have your customers and your clients, you have employees, you have your customers and your clients. And by the way, if you are a business, do your employees do business with you? I hope so. I hope that someone who works for you doesn't go down the street and get the service you offer from somebody else. Hopefully your customers are as bought into your business as you are, or certainly into the mission of the business. If you look at businesses over the test of time, businesses that have succeeded 100+ years, and there's a great book that talks about this, but the businesses that exceed decades do so because the employees, the people within the company, they buy into the mission of the company and they want to see that mission succeed, often far beyond the lives of the individual founders or owners of the company. So do your employees, again, buy into that mission? Do your customers and clients buy into that mission? Who, again, is part of your community? Now, the next question when it comes to community is, people may be part of your community, but do they like and trust you? Do they know that you are going to be there for them? It kind of goes back to you saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Now, I will add one more piece onto that. Once they know you care, they also better know you know something. So there's a whole process that I will share with you on another call too, on how do you build that out. And there's a psychological process that I was taught years ago on how you become the connector in your community, how your clients. I had a limousine company years ago, and I still do that to this day, where if my clients have a need, I tell them, whatever you need. I know a lot of people in the business world, a lot of great resources and great professionals. So if my clients have a need that might not necessarily be what I'm in business for, they know that they can come to me and I will help facilitate the connection between their need, the problem, and the person who has the solution, the business owner. And be that connector. Connect people, business owners you work with, to your clients that have the needs that they can service. And then lastly, remember, the magic happens through ongoing communication with the community, practiced consistently over time. There's a whole process in how you do this, that it's important to show up, but it's important to show up on an ongoing basis, because number one, it shows that you are the ultimate professional, but more importantly, it shows that you are consistent, and it shows that you care enough about them that whether you're doing business with them at the moment or not, you continue to reach out to them. And there's a process behind how to do that, which really dials in the referral 100 that makes it very profitable if done right. I remember years ago, I was working with a client who ran a company out of New York. And the CEO came in for a corporate meeting, and the company that they ordered, limousine company that they ordered to pick him up, didn't show up. So he's in the airport, or he's in the company now, complaining to the executive assistant about how the limousine companies in Seattle, which is where I was at the time, were horrible. And he looks down and sees this mailer that I had sent her. And he picks it up and asks her what it is. And she starts telling him about how every month, the first week of every month, she gets this mailer from me. And in today's world, it could be snail mail, it could be email. There's different ways of showing up, but it was the consistency. So he asked more questions, and she explained the process. And he then asked her if I could pick her up. And of course I did, or pick him up. And I picked him up and took him back to his corporate jet. And we were talking on the way back to the plane about my marketing system and about the process that I'm going to be sharing with you. And he looked at me, he says, "Tell me, do you take your transportation as serious as your marketing?" Which I smiled and said, "Of course. My marketing brings people in the door, but my customer service, the level of transportation I provide, that's what keeps them coming back." He then got out of the car and looked at me and said, "That's what I thought." He got on the plane, flew back to New York, and sent out a memo: if anyone comes into Seattle and doesn't use my company, they're fired. Pretty good endorsement. Not only did I pick up $50,000 corporate client contract by doing that, but it also helped solidify the fact that the consistency in which those letters went out was what caused or piqued his interest, so to speak. If I sent it out once a quarter, or if it was a basic newsletter like a lot of people do, it may or may not have caused attention, but it was the way in which it went out that caught his attention. And not only did he become one of my top 100, a lot of the people he worked for also became part of my top 100. So there's a whole process in how you build that out. The next scenario is creating a psychological advantage, I like to refer to it. Again, and this is a process that was taught to me by a mentor years ago named Brian Buffini. And he talks about how in business, there's character and there's competence. Again, people don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. That's the character part. But once they know we care, they also better know we know something. So when you reach out to your Dream 100, when you reach out to your clients and customers, make sure you do so in a format that shows them that, yes, I care about you. Here's information that I deem or I think will be relevant to something in your life, not necessarily about your business, but as an example, February is Fire Safety Month. So I would swing by my clients and give them 9-volt batteries and let them know, do you know that the 9-volt battery in your smoke detector is good for about 6 months? Most people don't know that. I then tell them, take these batteries and either I'll change them out or please you change them out, because I would feel horrible if something happened to you over something as small as a 9-volt battery. Again, character. It's demonstrating that we truly care about them as a person, as part of our community, and also as a customer client. But competence, again, they want to make sure we care about them, but they also want to know that we are truly professional. So that's how, when you reach out to them, when you do things for them or with them, make sure you're continually demonstrating that you're also a professional. hence referring another professional who has a solution to a challenge or problem that they may have, even though, as an example, I had a client who needed a painter, and I knew a great painter. So I referred my friend to her, got her permission to have my friend called her, facilitated the process. And he went, painted her foyer, which she needed to have done. Because I was the connector, I was the facilitator in how the process worked. I even asked him to call me when he was leaving her driveway, which she did. And then I called my client and says, hey, I just wanted to check in, see how John did with the painting job. And she was amazed that I, one, called her, two, that I called her so fast, and she was very happy about the job that he did. So I was able to, again, serve her on the character. I cared about her, right? I could, at that point, let her know, hey, Linda, you know, I really value you as a client and as a person, and I'm never too busy for anything that you need. I also, though, demonstrated competence in that I knew a good painter, I referred the painter, and I made sure that painter showed up and did his job. One of the biggest mistakes I find people make in this realm is a person has a need, and we know someone will say, oh, here's a person's business card, or here, let me text you their phone number. And we assume that it happens. And I'm even still guilty of this to a degree, as much as I hate to admit, because I should know better. But what happens is when you do that, oftentimes the connection doesn't happen. It's making sure we take it all the way to the end and connect the two people together and make sure that that need, to the best of our ability, is solved. When you do that, the gratitude that the client customer has is huge. The business owner that you just helped, they now feel grateful for what you do. And that's where you really start to build your community, again, outside of your business, the surrounding community. Do you show up and help organizations in your community with things that they may need help with? So my encouragement as I wind down is make sure that you're taking care of your employees. Make sure that you are letting your clients and customers know that you truly care about them, and start thinking about who in my database, who in my client base would I want to be part of my 100. And if you only know 30 people, then we can talk more about how do you build it up to 100. But the goal for this exercise and ongoing exercises is to help ensure that by the time you're done with this process, you will have 100 raving fans. And if you do, I guarantee you that business will not only be fun, it will also be very profitable.
All righty, great information, Mike. I'm gonna go ahead and take your slides down, or we still have more on there?
Nope, just that.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take your slides down. So this was a great start for the community development leg of the ESC program that we are doing in this group, and learning more about community and how it helps us. So we are awarding 5 points for the Fast Start Challenge, and the Fast Start Challenge ends on May 21st of 2022. So if you're watching this as a recording, or if you're with us live, we're going to ask you to answer this question, and you can answer it in the chat box, or if you're watching it as a recording, answer it in the comments field. And the question that I am going to ask is, do you show up with a heart to serve? And for extra credit, how? So if you would just put that in the chat box or in the comments field, we will award you the points for the Fast Start Challenge. That being said, Mike, we thank you for doing this. You're going to be back here every Thursday for the next couple of weeks with more that you're adding to all of this. And we appreciate you very much for doing this presentation today. And for those who are with us live, we're going to invite you to stay. You might have some questions for Mike. This is one of the advantages of being with us live, is that you can stay and chat with our guest speaker for that particular opportunity. But we want to say thank you to everyone for joining us for this event in the Fast Start Challenge.